And you will know my name is the Lord. I am God. There you are.
Here we are again. Welcome one, welcome all to the Junk Shop Library channel, and today to Improv Bible Study. The Bible study where a manic depressive non-binary atheist reads the whole fucking thing and rips it a new asshole verse by tedious verse. Not safe for children, probably not good for families unless your family experience is much different than was mine growing up. A product of Mayhem and Foolishness Productions, this program should be taken with a slight grain of salt and with no expertise assumed because none is involved. I saved that sentence. Almost lost it, but I saved it. Welcome one, welcome all. This show and the others both like it and not under the Mayhem and Foolishness umbrella would not be possible, and certainly would not have been possible for a significant chunk of pandemic time were it not for the ongoing moral support, creative feedback, and, let's be frank, monetary contributions provided over on patreon.com/junkshoplibrary by the fine folks whose names you currently see scrolling at the bottom of the screen. These folks, along with a couple of anonymous donors who wish to remain anonymous, kept the lights on around here for a little while. And I say a little while despite the fact that it felt like about 3 fucking years. You are all immensely appreciated, and I can't thank you enough. In a special in particular, y'all know I got to shout out my top tier patron, and for that matter, my very first patron, my genuine calfskin level supporter, one and only Mr. Paul Camish, late of Her Majesty's Royal, currently involved in fighting the good fight against flat earth stupidity wherever he can manage to pick a fight. Thank you for everything you've done for the channel, my friend. We were at 200 subscribers, thanks largely to Paul's shilling and pushing. And now we're at 300, due in large part to Paul's shilling and pushing. Don't know what I'd do without you, my friend. All right. Chat is filling up. I see some old friends of the channel, some new friends of the channel, some old friends of mine. String Theory says, I do love the intro. Yes, the one and only Brainbug whomped that up for me as a surprise one day. Just sent me a file and said, see what you think. And I loved it. All right. Do we have announcements? I do have a word of apology. Not so much an announcement, but to my my patrons. My patron streams have been dramatically unpredictable the last couple of weeks because I've been crazy in my head and I've been in a lot of physical discomfort as well. You've all been very understanding, and I thank you for that. We did have a good time at the Catechism stream yesterday morning. If you're a member of the Patreon Library Association, you should go back and check that out. We talked about conscience. Yes, in the Jiminy Cricket written on your heart sense. It was weird. It's not coffee. I didn't mention the not for children, right? Yes, I did. Good. Moving right along. We're still stuck in Daniel. The first part of Daniel was largely a narrative. stuff happened. Stories were told. Kings rose and fell and reappeared in the next chapter for no readily discernible reason. Now, old Daniel having visions, each one seemingly more bizarre, nonsensical, and over-explained than the last. Okay, we had the diverse beasts of chapter 7 last time. And then we had the ram with the 2 horns that got his ass ram smoked in chapter 8. Oh yes, and then Daniel passed out in his dream, woke up in the real world a couple of days later, and went about all astonied, and couldn't find anybody to interpret his incredibly obvious vision. Which brings us to chapter 9. In the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, of the seed of the Medes, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books the number of the years, whereof the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolations of Jerusalem. And I set my face unto the Lord God, to seek by prayer and supplications, with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed unto the Lord my God, and made my confession, and said, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him, and to them that keep his commandments, we have sinned, and have committed iniquity, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled, even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day, to the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near, and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespass that they have trespassed against thee. O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee. To the Lord our God belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God, to walk in his laws, which he set before us in his servants the prophets. Yea, all Israel have transgressed the law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Wherefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us. Yet made we not our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. Therefore hath the Lord watched upon the evil, and brought it upon us. For the Lord our God is righteous in all his works that he doeth, for we obeyed not his voice. And now, O Lord our God, that hast brought thy people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and hast gotten thee renown, as at this day we have sinned, we have done wickedly. O Lord, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, let thine anger and thy fury be turned away from thy city Jerusalem, the holy mountain, because for our sins and for the iniquities of our fathers, Jerusalem and thy people are become a reproach to all that are about us. Now, therefore, O Lord our God, hear the prayer of thy servant and his supplications, and cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary that is desolate, for the Lord's sake. O my God, incline thine ear, and hear. Open thine eyes, and behold our desolations, and the city which is called by thy name. For we do not present our supplications before thee for our righteousness, but for thy great mercies. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do. Defer not, for thine own sake, O my God, for thy city and thy people who are called by thy name. And whilst I was speaking and praying and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Israel, and presenting my supplication before the Lord my God for the holy mountain of my God, yea, whilst I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, began cause to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation. And he informed me and talked with me and said, O Daniel, I am now come forth to give thee skill and understanding. At the beginning of thy supplications the commandment came forth, and I am come to shew thee, for thou art greatly beloved. Therefore understand the matter, and consider the vision. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and the prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate even until the consummation. And that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. And that's the end of chapter 9. You follow that? You got a good sense of that timetable? The way he laid it out? No, you don't. Don't fucking lie to me. What? Okay, so after a while, Daniel decides he's had enough of being in the land of the Chaldeans. And he goes off and prays a great prayer, telling God how bad they all done fucked up. And this fellow Gabriel, who he saw back at the beginning of the book, comes flying in, says, wow, you're a long way from Jerusalem. God damn, I was told to come out and give you a message back when you first started praying, and my God, you've been going on for a minute. Y'all a long way off. Anyway, all of which is to say, you have not done your penance yet. There's still going to be desolation and destruction and wrath and smiting and all manner of stuff, but only for the next 70 weeks. And after 70 weeks, you'll get a Messiah, and the Messiah will put everything right again, and then he will be smote. And that's the end of my prophecy. I can't tell if Daniel's just got a shit memory or if he gets shit visions, but his prophecies are not being real fucking helpful. I like Elijah. Oh God, if thou art in heaven, smite these men before me with fire. And fire comes from heaven and smites the men before him. Poof! So much for that. That's a prophet. O Israel, If thou in truth be turned back unto the way of the Lord, for another 70 weeks you will still be under the thumb of the Chaldean. And after that time, you'll go home and you'll slave and you'll build God a fancy new house. And then you'll get a Messiah. And then the Messiah will be smote. And you'll all get slapped down again. That ain't a prophet. That's a student of history. I'm shaved nice and clean, Ox. Thank you very much. I swear to God, between you and Mark Caesar, there ain't nobody quite so invested in the state of my scalp. It's like you're looking to harvest the fucking thing. All right. Well, that was a whole lot of nothing in one long chapter. How about chapter 10? In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, we're just all over the place with this fucking timeline, aren't we? It's like somebody dropped the manuscript and didn't check the beginning and end of the pages before shuffling them back in together. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belteshazzar, and the thing was true. But the time appointed was long, and he understood the thing, and had understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks. I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all. 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. And in the 24th day of the 1st month, as I was by the side of the great river, which is Hiddekel, then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision. For the men that were with me saw not the vision, but a great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. Therefore I was left alone, and saw this great vision, and there remained no strength in me, for my comeliness was turned in me into corruption, and I retained no strength. Yet heard I the voice of his words, and when I heard the voice of his words, then was I in a deep sleep on my face, and my face toward the ground. And behold, an hand touched me, which set me upon my knees and upon the palms of my hands. And he said unto me, O Daniel, a man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright, for unto thee am I now sent. And when he had spoken this word unto me, I stood, trembling. Then said he unto me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand, and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days, for yet the vision is for many days. And when he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground, and I became dumb. And behold, one like the similitude of the sons of men touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spake, and said unto him that stood before me, O my Lord, by the vision my sorrows are turned upon me, and I have retained no strength. For how can the servant of this my Lord talk with this my Lord? For as for me, straightway there remained no strength in me, neither is there breath left in me. Then there came again and touched me one like the appearance of man, and he strengthened me, and said, O man, greatly beloved, fear not. Peace be unto thee. Be strong. Yea, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened, and said, Let my Lord speak, for thou hast strengthened me. Then said he, Knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee? And now will I return to fight with the prince of Persia, and when I am gone forth, lo, the prince of Grecia shall come. But I will shew thee that which is noted in the scripture of truth, and there is none that holdeth with me in these things, but Michael your prince. And there we have chapter 10. Book of Daniel's all about these shiny ass motherfuckers that kind of look like the children of men. It's like overhearing a bunch of fucking druggies talking in a coffee shop. Okay. So the shiny ass motherfucker was on his way to Daniel to deliver the word of the Lord when the Persian army stopped and distracted him for a while and fought against him and wouldn't let him go. Some angel. I wonder if they had chariots of iron. Chariots of iron and... No, chariots of iron stop God. Apparently, Persian foot soldiers can stop an angel. Then this other guy comes along, this Michael. Gabriel and Michael. We've got two archangel names, at least, that have crept into the Christian pantheon. So they get there, and they start talking to Daniel, and Daniel keels over and falls on his face. Daniel, the fainting prophet, does it again. And one of them says, oh, for fuck's sake, and grabs him and hauls him up on his knees in the palms of his hands and says, that's all the help I'm going to give you. Get your ass up. Stand up while I'm talking to you, kid. So he does, except he's all shaky and nervous for fear of the shiny man. And the shiny man talks to him for a while, and he falls out again. And while he's laying there, face down on the dirt, another shiny man comes and pokes him and says, be strong, motherfucker. So he stands up and he feels all invigorated, and he says, thank you for that poke, my lord. Now talk to me, for I am invigorated with thy poking. And one of them, which one, it's a little hard to tell at this point, says, there's going to be more prophecy, and you'll go back to Jerusalem eventually, but the time of your distress for the distressment that you have caused, or rather not you, but your great-great-great-grandsires caused Yahweh, the forgiving God, is not yet paid off. So just chill. Aren't you glad we came? And he wraps the chapter there. I think we're over halfway through the book of Daniel at this point, and we've yet to see anything remotely resembling anything you might call a plot. It's just been all flash and dazzle and a couple little anecdotes. It's like one of the shitty Pirates of the Caribbean movies that's just all set piece action, and the last third of it is all just build up to the next movie that won't come out for another 2.5 fucking years. Oh, I didn't hear this one. Ray says, I grew up learning this prince of Persia was an uber-powerful demon that Gabriel was fighting. Well, that would certainly make more sense in the context of this story than him just getting distracted and deciding to fight the armies of, what's his name, the son of Ahasuerus. What is going on with this book, y'all? We'll never get through if we don't keep going. Chapter 11. Also, I, in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I, stood to confirm and to strengthen him. And now I will shew thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all, and by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. And a mighty king shall stand up, that shall rule with great dominion, and do according to his will. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken, and shall be divided toward the 4 winds of heaven, and not to his posterity, nor according to his dominion which he ruled. For his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others besides those. And the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion, and his dominion shall be a great dominion. And in the end of years they shall join themselves together. For the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement, but she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand nor his arm, but she shall be given up, and they that brought her, and he that begat her, and he that strengthened her in these times. But out of a branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against them, and shall prevail. And shall also carry captives into Egypt their gods, with their princes, and with their precious vessels of silver and of gold, and he shall continue more years than the king of the north. So the king of the south shall come into his kingdom, and shall return into his own land. But his sons shall be stirred up, and shall assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through. Then shall he return and be stirred up even to his fortress. And the king of the south shall be moved with choler, and shall come forth and fight with him, even with the king of the north. And he shall set forth a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given into his hand. And when he hath taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many 10,000s, but he shall not be strengthened by it. For the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army, and with much riches. And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. Also the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fall. So the king of the north shall come, and cast up a mount, and take the most fenced cities, and the arms of the south shall not withstand, neither his chosen people, neither shall there be any strength to withstand. But he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will, and none shall stand before him. And he shall stand in the glorious land, which by his hand shall be consumed. He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. Thus shall he do. He shall give him the daughter of women, corrupting her, but she shall not stand on his side, neither before him. After this shall he turn his face unto the isles, and shall take many. But a prince for his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach he shall cause it to turn upon him. Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land, but he shall stumble and fall, and not be found. Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom, but within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably, and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. And with the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up, and shall become strong with a small people. He shall enter peaceably, even upon the fattest places of the province. And he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey, and spoil, and riches. Yea, and he shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time. And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army. And the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army. But he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. Yea, they that feed of the portion of his meat shall destroy him, and his army shall overflow, and many shall fall down slain. And both these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Then shall he return into his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits and return to his own land. At the time appointed he shall return, and come toward the south, but it shall not be as the former, or as the latter. For the ships of Chittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved, and return, and have indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do. He shall even return, and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their God shall be strong, and do exploits. And they that understand among the people shall instruct many. Yet they shall fall by the sword, and by flame, by captivity, and by spoil, many days. Now when they shall fall, they shall be holpen with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flatteries. And some of them of understanding shall fall, to try them, and to purge, and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. And the king shall do accordingly to his will, and he shall exalt himself, and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any god, for he shall magnify himself above all. But in his estate he shall honor the God of forces, and a God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold and silver, and with precious stones and pleasant things. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. And he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain. And at the time of the end, shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots and with horsemen, and with many ships, and he shall enter into the countries, and shall overflow and pass over. He shall also enter into the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom and Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon. He shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. But he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt, and the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps. But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him, Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy, and utterly to make away many. And he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain. Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. And that's the end of chapter 11. Okie dokie. Well, y'all, if I had to guess, go away, notifications. I don't care about you right now. If I had to guess, I would say this is some rambly bullshit written after the fact. Three kingdoms survive and Egypt falls. Three tribes, rather. Three tribes survive and Egypt falls, and somebody sitting around writing with a pen name of Daniel decides that Daniel prophesied that all this shit was going to happen, including this back and forth and pushy-pulley, push-me-pull-you war between the kings of the north and the kings of the south, because it's both immensely vague and incredibly specific. It's like textbook fantasy prophecy. You know, you're reading a crap fantasy novel and the prophet appears and says, "And you, O king, you will have a dream of a three-headed goat with a saddle thereon made of lapis lazuli, and it shall signify something. But don't ask me what it is, for that is not my power. You must go on a hitherto unknown quest to the top of a hitherto unmentioned mountain, where lives a man wiser than I, who will tell you the interpretation thereof, and the journey will be hard. Because it's 3 years' journey away, and it's going to take us 4 fucking books to get there." Well, big surprise to nobody, that night the king falls asleep and dreams of a three-headed goat with a saddle full of lapis lazuli, and then hies himself off to the end of the kingdom for 4 fucking books. Only to find out that the moral of the story is, don't trust prophets. Don't look at me. I don't know. Improv, baby. Improv Bible study. You didn't think I forgot, did you? Shit. You knew damn well I was a snake before you let me in. Okay. That was a long chapter about nothing. I mean, you could tell it was written after the fact to explain stuff that had already happened, but it was written in the future tense so that it would give legitimacy to the interpretation. Guess what, y'all? We're going to do another chapter. You know why we're going to do another chapter? Because there's only one left. That's right, y'all. We're moving out of the major prophets and into the rinky-dink prophets. Daniel, 12th and final chapter. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, Shut up the words, and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, How long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and an half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the end of time. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly. And none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolation set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth, and cometh to the 1,335 days. But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest, and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. And that's the end of the book of the prophet Daniel. Art thou not edified? Daniel gives up after having spent the first half of the book saying, I can interpret any dream, even the ones that you don't be bothered to tell me what's in it. Then, suddenly in the last few chapters, he can't understand a thing. He has to have every simile and every metaphor explained to him by one of his fabulous glowing men. And then we get to the end and he says, Oh my Lord, what does this business mean? And oh, his Lord says, don't worry about it. It's for the wise people. You go on home. Woof! It's the end of the chapter. It's the end of the book. He gave up. Or died, or got bored. Just, that's it. That's the end. Don't sweat it, Daniel. The wise will understand. Go home. Are you not entertained? And then, of course, there's the miraculously, beautifully vague explanation of how long this whole thing is going to take. A time and times and half a time. How long? The wise will understand. Don't worry about it. It'll be like we said yesterday morning. It's knowledge reserved for the priestly class. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it now. Supposedly the wisest man in the entire kingdom through the reign of 3 kings. Survived 2 civil wars and an external conqueror. Was chief over the kingdom next only to the king for his wisdom and his ability to analyze dreams. And the last thing he says before he finishes his book is, and then I saw a vision, and the man in my vision told me not to worry about it. I wouldn't understand it. Oh my goodness. Well, so much for Daniel. In a week or so, we'll congregate again and we'll crack the book of the prophet Hosea. I don't know nothing about Hosea. Maybe there's a verse here and there that were plucked out of context and taught to us as children. I don't know. But if you ask me right now to summarize the book of the prophet Hosea, I would just have to say, nope. Can't do it. Sorry. Oh, did he leave? I thought he was just crafting a comeback. That guy's been around here forever. He says essentially the same thing every time he comes back. Well, motherfucker, at least I'm doing an interesting project. You apparently have nothing better to do than just come in here and make not even particularly creative insults. Anyway, so much for that. Nobody cares. Ring says the next few ones are less than 5 chapters and around 1 or 2 each. We might finish the Old Testament yet. It's only taken us 2.5 goddamn years. What day is this? It's Monday where we are. It's Monday in Central Time. I don't know where you are. Okay, well, so much for Daniel. I had it in my head that Daniel was longer than that. I wasn't expecting to finish it today, but given the way the last few chapters went, I'm not entirely sorry to put that shit in my rear view. I want to thank everybody for turning up. I want to thank everybody who supports the channel in Patreon or in other ways. Start all over and make sure everyone hears all of that's what the playlists are for back on the main page, motherfucker. Yeah, no, trust me, there's no way I'm reading fucking Deuteronomy again. An house. Build me an house and make it purple, bitch. Until we congregate again. That is a harder word to say with a cold in one's nose. Until we congregate again. Everybody take care. Be safe. Stand against hate. We'll see y'all again soon. And yet again, I'm too far from the mouse to be able to click out of here gracefully with my fucked up shoulder. So I'm going to use Brainbug's intro outro for cover while I figure out how to close it down.